Welcome to the chapter Apply, Set Up Your Data. This chapter dives deep into how to successfully set up your data once you have identified your baseline. We explore a practical question. Once you have defined your baseline, how do you structure your data to assess impact meaningfully and responsibly? Baselines tell you where you started, but to understand whether change is significant, for whom it matters, and whether it is credible, you need a structured framework. This is where the 5 dimensions of impact provide critical structure. The 5 dimensions of impact help organizations interpret outcomes in a systematic way. They ensure that impact measurement is not only about numbers, but about context and significance. First, let's go over these dimensions, which are what, who, how much, contribution and risk. The what refers to the outcome of your activities and outputs. The who identifies who experiences the outcomes and how underserved they are. The how much reflects the scale, depth, and duration of the outcomes. This is particularly important when calculating baselines, as depth of impact is defined as the difference between the outcome experienced and the baseline. The contribution assesses how much of the impact can be attributed to the company compared to what would likely have happened anyway. And the risk dimension, this evaluates the likelihood that the impact does not occur as expected for people or the planet. Importantly, these 5 dimensions are not only reporting tools, they support better decision-making. By structuring data along these dimensions, organizations can identify weak assumptions, detect unintended consequences early, and refine strategy over time. Let's look back at a practical example of a desalination solution. The problem addressed is lack of reliable access to clean drinking water, combined with the environmental footprint of conventional desalination systems, which often rely on fossil energy and chemical pretreatment. Through its theory of change, the organization aims to improve water access while reducing environmental harm. Applying the 5 dimensions begins with what. In this case, the immediate output is the production of potable water. The outcome is improved access to reliable, safe drinking water. The longer-term impact may include improved health and economic stability, but the direct outcome is access. The who dimension focuses on coastal communities experiencing water scarcity, particularly underserved populations with limited infrastructure, as well as the marine environment surrounding it. The how much dimension requires comparing current access levels to the baseline. If previously only intermittent or unsafe water was available, the depth of change is significant. Duration matters as well. Is access seasonal or year-round? The environmental dimension must also be considered. Compared to fossil fuel-powered desalination, the solar-powered system reduces greenhouse gas emissions and avoids chemical pretreatment in some designs. It may also reduce brine discharge impacts through improved system design. The contribution dimension asks whether improved water access would have occurred without the intervention. If no alternative infrastructure was planned, the company's contribution is likely substantial. Finally, the risk dimension examines potential unintended effects. For example, system underperformance, improper maintenance, brine disposal challenges, or affordability barriers. This connects directly to the do no significant harm principle, ensuring that social and environmental trade-offs are actively assessed. Through the 5 dimensions of impact, the organization does not simply report increased water production. It evaluates who benefits, how significant the change is relative to baseline, how much can be attributed to its intervention, and whether risks are adequately managed. By integrating this structure into your measurement system, impact assessment becomes both more credible and more useful for decision-making. This voyage takes us from promising ideas to proof of real ocean impact.